Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Carolyn. If you're new here, hello. So today we're going to be talking all about lashes. So I'm going to be going through 3 different lash styles basically. So I'm going to be showing you my no falsies routine, so what I do to make my natural lashes look as large and voluminous as possible, and then I'm going to be showing you how to do a traditional lash application, and then I'm also going to be showing you how to glue your lashes underneath your natural lashes. There will be timestamps below, so if you want to skip ahead to a certain part if you're only interested in a specific technique, you can do that. So yeah, that's basically it. Let's zoom you guys in and we'll jump into it, starting with the no falsies routine. Okay, I've tried to get you as close as possible. So I'm basically just kneeling on the floor right now. Okay, so I'm gonna be using 3 different products basically for this. I will give you some product recommendations. However, it's more about the type of product than it is the actual product itself, you know what I mean? So first thing I'm gonna do is start by curling my lashes. So I just got my regular old lash curler here, nothing fancy. And you just wanna make sure you got all of your lashes in there. And then I like to do little pumps like this. So you don't wanna do it a lot of people will just hold it down and clamp their lashes, and that does technically work, but I find it gives a little crease. So I like to do this I don't know, 15, 20 times. Get a nice little curl to the lash. Okay, now that we're nice and curled, I'm gonna take a lash primer. So this one is from Milk Makeup, it's their Kush lash primer. Again, I don't think you need this specific one. I think any lash primer will really do. I also really like the Marc Jacobs one. All right, so I'm gonna go in and do a light layer. So what lash primer is gonna do is, one, it's going to help really increase the volume. And then I also find it helps a lot with transfer. So if you're somebody that struggles with your mascara transferring or getting really all over the place, this can really help with that too. All right, now that we've got the lash primer on, I'm gonna go in with a more voluminous mascara. So I'm gonna be going in with the Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Lashes Volume 2. You don't necessarily need this mascara, but you want something with this kind of brush. It's more of a natural, fluffy type brush. That's what you want for this style. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go over that lash primer. And then I'm just gonna do this on the top lashes because we're gonna go in with another style of mascara. For the second style of wand, you want something that is more of a plasticky wand that has more of these fine little combs. So the one I'm using is the Ilia Limitless mascara. So this is really good for lengthening. So you want anything with again, this type of wand, anything that's gonna be more lengthening. So it's gonna comb through any clumps and add some length. And then we're also gonna do that on the bottom lashes. Now, because I don't like my lower lashes to be too long, I will kind of take my finger and just sort of take the mascara off the ends. And then this step is optional, but I like to go in again with my lash curler. Curl these bad boys up, and then go in once more with my lengthening mascara. And that is my no falsies routine. So I don't do this every day, but if I'm wanting dramatic lashes but I don't want to actually put on a lash, or if I'm wearing eyeshadow, this is the routine that I'll do. All right, we're gonna move on to a traditional lash application style. So this is the application method I will do generally for more dramatic lashes, or if you're doing lashes on another person, this is definitely the method I would do. But this will work with any lash style. The first thing you want is to have some kind of liner-esque type thing. Now this could be a full wing or just a little line, whatever you want really. But you don't even have to do a full liner. I find what also works well is just doing a little bit of black shadow right towards the lash line will work just fine. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm gonna take this is an old ass Sonia Kashuk palette, but I'm just gonna take my little angle brush here and dip into the black shadow, and I'm just gonna go right along the lash line. I'm just basically stamping it. You could also do this with just a like a kohl pencil or something like that, but I just find a shadow easier. And then I like to kind of go underneath in the tight line a little bit and get right into that inner corner there. So with any lash, you want to make sure it's trimmed correctly to your eye. This one is already trimmed. I'm going to be using a dramatic lash because that's typically what I do. So you can, most lashes you're going to have to trim, but basically you want it to kind of be at kind of your last inner corner lash here that's like, you know, visible to the outer corner of your eye. And basically you don't want it to go past your outer corner of your eye, and you don't want it to be poking you in your inner corner. So like I said, this lash is already trimmed. When you're trimming your lash, you want to again go from the outer corner, because especially with a tapered lash like this, if you cut off this inner corner, it's going to look really weird just having a super long lash in your inner corner. So you want to trim from this side, and usually lashes are kind of truncated, so you can just do like 2 chunks or 1 chunk and then just measure it again. And yeah, you want to trim your lash nice and well. Okay, and then we're going to apply a thin layer of glue. I like the brush-on kind. I just find it's a little bit easier. And you just want to make sure it's, you know, fully coated, but not like super thick. And now we wait. So depending on your glue, you're going to want to wait like 30 seconds to a minute for the glue to get tacky. All right, once your glue is tacky, you can use a lash tool, but for this application I find I just use my fingers and it works fine. So if you're doing this on someone else, you want to have them look down on yourself. You can just close your eye and raise your eyebrow. And you just want to stick it as close to the lash line as possible. And what I like to do is sort of bend the lash upward, and this will get it closer to the lash line. Now again, you can go in with the lash tool, or you can just go in with your little fingies and clamp it down. And then it's not as important for if you have a thick band like this. If you're using a lash with more of a clear or transparent band, I like to then go over the band with that black shadow or liner, whatever you use. Once again, to just blend it in a little bit more. Okay, there you go. Your lash is on, you're looking ready to sit on your couch because we're still in quarantine. But yeah, there's how I apply the lash. Okay, so the other method is to apply it underneath your natural lash. I want to preface this by saying do not do this on another person whatsoever, because a lot of it kind of depends on feeling where the lash is, and you could very easily get glue in someone's eye. So please don't do this on another person. I never do this on my clients. I only do it on myself. If you're doing makeup on somebody else, do this method minus the squinching the lashes together. Also, just be super careful if you're doing this method, because I've gotten glue in my eye before and it's not fun. But if you do it correctly, it is pretty easy and can look really, really pretty. So for this, I do highly recommend having a lash tool. It makes things so much easier. You can kind of do it if you have just a regular lash curler, but this makes it way easier. I'll link this one that I have below. I love it. For this lash application, you want something with a nice thin band, and typically a more natural style lash works best for this. And you're going to trim them much more than you would for a traditional lash. So hopefully you can see the difference. This is what I would normally trim a lash of if I'm doing the traditional method, and then this is a lash that is trimmed to go underneath, so it's much, much shorter. So the reason for this is because it's going, you know, underneath, it should be about the length of like your regular lashes. You don't want it poking you in the inner tear duct, and obviously it can't go past your outer corner at all. I'm gonna apply a nice thin band of glue just like the other one. And for this, it's even more important that you wait and let it get tacky. You don't need to do any liner for this. Next, you wanna make sure your lash tool is clean, partially, you know, for sanitation purposes, but also because if there's any gunk on it, you're gonna pull the lash right off when you're trying to secure it. So I just sprayed mine with a little alcohol. Obviously wait for it to dry before you put it on your eyeballs. And then I'm wiping it down with a little microfiber cloth. All right, so once it's nice and tacky, what you're gonna do is gently place it underneath. Trying to do this without a mirror is not as easy. And then I like to kind of close my eye almost and it's not really gonna feel secure at first, so that's when your lash tool comes in. So you wanna come in and clamp it down, just like that. You're gonna wipe off your clampers, then make sure your clampers are clean, there's no gunk, and then you're gonna go in on the inner corner, readjust whatever you need. I like to kind of push up with my thumb. And we're gonna clamp that down as well. There we go. Now my inner corner does need a little bit more glue. If you have to do this underneath, just be super careful, okay? So I'm just going to see how it's just kind of like hanging off there. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit of glue, and we'll let that get tacky for a second. Okay, and I pressed it up. Go in with the clampers. And then the last step I do is I will curl them together. Same thing with your lash curler, you want it to be super clean, so I'm gonna get off all of this like mascara gunk that's on there so I don't end up like pulling this lash off. But I find this step really helps to kind of fuse everything together and just make it more comfortable to wear. So I'm gonna get all my lash in there, and I'm just gonna do some gentle little pumps. And then very slowly and gently peel that off. And there you go. And that is how you glue lashes underneath. So obviously, I mean, these are two different lash styles, so they're gonna look different either way. But this one looks a lot more natural, much closer to kind of like lash extension type of feel. Obviously you can't see the band at all when you close your eyes. So it's great if you don't wanna have to do liner. It does take a little bit more practice, so like, if you're first learning how to do lashes, learn how to do this method first and then move on to something like this if you're wanting to do that. You can make this style look natural with a more natural style lash, but yeah, so those are the different application methods. Okay, so I ended up doing the dramatic lash and just a little bit of eyeshadow, you know, make it nice and fancy. But anywho, so that concludes our Lashes 101 video. Please let me know which style or application method you like best down below. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.